Welcome back to my channel. I am Seraphine Arocha, and I'm with my partner in crime, Chelsea Atia. Hello.
Hi. We're here.
We're here.
We're in the finale.
Finale. Timing is everything. The final episode of The Hills.
Finally, a good name for an episode.
Oh, God. And one we can remember. Oh, my Lord. So they advertised this last episode as, is this the beginning of the end? Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh. You and I we were percolating on a few things. We were really hoping that The Hills would keep going.
Yes.
I don't know. The way they wrapped up this ending, I was like, oh, God. So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in. You know, before we get started, though, something depressing happened to me yesterday. I was talking with someone, and I was like, you know The Hills? And she's 23. The Hills? What's The Hills? I'm like, The Hills? With Lauren Conrad and Kristen Cavallari? I don't know what that is. I'm like, are you serious? I'm that age? I'm that old now that people that the shows I watched when I was in middle school, these kids don't know anymore.
No, isn't it
and
nuts? It's a weird feeling. Well,
so we're the old people watching The Hills New Beginnings.
And I am extra old because I'm in my 40s. I'm wearing a bra top for you, my love. Heidi Montag, my tribute to you. We love her. I've got my Gucci for the Pratt Daddy family, and I've got my gems. So I am extra sad because I am... even when The Hills came out or Laguna Beach came out, I was a little too old to be like, oh, yeah, I feel it. But I do feel you guys. I'm young at heart. That's all I can say. So anyway, let's dish about this final episode. We start out at the tip of it where we were left with Caitlin and Brody.
Yes.
And her...
dropping the bombshell.
How did you feel about this?
I mean, I'm still like, Caitlin didn't really, she's super polite and such a sweet girl to feel the need to tell Brody about it. I mean, they are in the same friend group. And they had 6 years together. So I thought it was sweet of her to make that effort to do it. Brody still kind of was letting her off the hook that easily, but he's kind of like, I mean, are you sure? I'm like, she's already pregnant. All you need to say right now is, I'm so happy for you. I knew that you wanted to be a mom so bad. And I really, really hope that the relationship is everything you want. Done.
Yeah. I think what's so hard now about watching these shows, and me now, because I'm a bit of a nerd, I like to really find out the story.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the Spidey podcast.
Yeah.
And shout out to them. They're so cool. They responded to an Instagram for us when we were talking about having a Pratt Daddy weekend with the crystals and all the healing. As you can see, I love my crystals. So anyway, I'm listening. And they give the backstory on this storyline.
Heidi and Spencer did?
So
really?
So apparently, Caitlin pretty much told everyone, including producers, about this before Brody. And she wanted to set it up like a big storyline drop on Brody.
Oh.
So I was like, ew.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
That's a little different.
It's a little different
than what it's portrayed.
And I now understand why Brody
was annoyed.
Yes, with his Lord Farquaad hair, with his sunglasses. I ripped him apart last week because I was like, I just thought he was acting pretty douchey.
Yeah.
And now I am understanding now he was really put into a place where he's like, I brought you on this show.
Exactly.
And then I don't even get to tell the storyline of how you hooked up with Miley Cyrus. Like, that was off the table.
She wouldn't let them talk about that?
It was alluded to the fact that there was probably something legality-wise, maybe through Miley Cyrus. I don't know for a fact, but it was definitely alluded that storyline could not be brought onto The Hills.
Yeah.
So Caitlin needed a storyline, and I mean, obviously her new beau is quite a businessman as well.
Yeah.
And I think if they would have concentrated on their relationship, she could have had a pretty good storyline.
Yeah.
Instead, all this weird stuff with her and Caroline. I always do that. Caroline. And then the Brody tension. I mean, I just feel like that's kind of crappy to do to your ex.
Yeah, it is. It's not how I saw it at all when it was portrayed, but
No.
knowing that that's like what her intention was behind that.
Yeah, and I hope it
That's
wasn't.
not cool.
I mean, I hope it wasn't, but that's really. I mean, they were Spencer and Heidi. I think are pretty. They're pretty much reality professionals.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really doubt that they aren't telling the truth about that she needed a storyline.
I need to listen to their.
It was interesting. And they also said that Brody is way checked out. Like he does not want to be a part of
the show at all.
The show at all, which is a little disappointing. I mean, I don't know if he like signed on for a contract, but you can really tell these people who are in it and people who are like a toe in, toe out.
Audrina's the same way.
Oh, completely. I just feel like she uses it for a platform for like side businesses.
Probably to make money.
Yeah. Her story just...
I think Heidi and Spencer are the only ones that are really in it.
100%. And I mean, they are professionals. I mean, they have done this for a long time. They're the longest
15 years.
Yeah, longest couple on the show too.
Yeah. And they've been on other reality shows too.
Yep.
I can't remember the names of them, but those VH1 type shows.
Yep. And what I do appreciate is that, they go along with the storyline because obviously the producers have to have a cohesive show to some degree.
Yeah.
So they play their role, but they play it as themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I think the hard part for them is they're like, well, yeah, we do get a little bit led into these situations, but half these people have lives that are like not even anywhere near how they're being portrayed on the show.
I feel like we don't know anything about Adrina's life. No. But you know who, I don't know if he's in it or checked out or whatever, but someone that I'm consistently like liking more is Justin Bobby.
Me too. I have to say, I when I was listening to the Spidey podcast, they made reference to good old JB.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there's a little bit of a poking at him, but I'll be honest with you, I felt like everything he brought to the table, I mean, there's a little annoyances like his constant reference to he's a nomad.
Yes. And fleeting.
And all this.
Split. I'm going to split. I'm like, what?
I know. And this whole lyric, he sets himself up to be Johnny Depp, like circa right before Amber Heard. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know about that. I mean, I know you're like this Lothario, but it's time to grow up. And I guess he's doing it.
I think his inspo now is more Jason Momoa, who has 2 kids, and then Zoe Kravitz as his kids. So he's kind of locked down. So then it's okay for me to be locked down. But I feel like Jason Momoa, I digress, but I think he has his own.
He's got a man crush on him. I bet you any money he does. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
But I think that Justin Bobby is so bummed that Caitlin's pregnant.
Oh, I felt it. That whole exchange between them was
he loves her.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that they would have been great together.
Yeah.
And I think she does too. I think she also knows that like they have great chemistry. They're so similar.
Yep. Their body language really like came through.
Yeah.
But boy, you could tell that her boyfriend was in the hotel room ready to make his entrance. I could feel that like,
yeah.
It's like when you run into an ex-boyfriend with your husband and you're like, oh God, oh God, oh God, like you just don't.
That would be uncomfortable.
Very.
But I think that he said something about like, you never know what's going to happen in the future.
I know.
I don't know if he was talking about them too. I think he was talking about himself having children. I think he's really trying to tell her, I'm ready for kids.
Yeah. It's funny how the crossing of the paths, and I do like that he just put it out there because they are in a very new relationship. Who knows?
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of people can get pregnant with the first time they're with someone, so we don't even know how long they've really been together. Yeah. So I don't know. It was a nice. It was a very real exchange.
It was.
And by the way,
he's always real.
Do you see all these Band-Aids, especially Pratt Daddy family? I carried up my crystals and I was like bleeding from my hand.
It's wild.
It was crazy. I was like, these are some strong crystals here.
This is why I get the
little ones,
handheld.
I love it.
Polly Pocket size.
They're the best. Well, this ends up being a nice big bow on everybody. They throw Audrina in for some I don't know, ad-lib scenes.
It's so weird. She's like not really in it at all.
I mean, she just faded. It was like,
did. What was her like? I can't even think about.
Her story arc was basically a little bit of drama, I think, with Heidi.
Yeah.
Kristen Cavallari came in.
Yeah.
They chatted a little bit, and it was like her and Brody's flirtation. That was her storyline. It's nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing about her, like her daughter, her businesses, nothing. I was like, it was basically poor Audrina yet again. So, you know,
she had the Sean Stewart date in the beginning of the season.
Oh, that's right. They did throw poor good old Sean Stewart.
Poor guy. I kind of feel bad now.
Yeah. I wish they would have brought him in for the end episode.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's so weird at the beginning of the show, and this has to be in contracts, of why Freddie gets like one of those back glances, like, feel the rain on your skin, and he's looking in the camera. And then, I'm going to say her name right. Caroline. Caroline doesn't get anything.
Yeah.
And she had more screen time than Freddie.
She had a more of a storyline than Frankie. You called him Freddie.
Freddie. Oh, sorry, Freddie. Frankie. That's how much he was on the freaking show.
I know. He did have a wonderful moment in Tahoe when he fell off the ski lift.
Oh my God. And he had another one riding the bull. I mean, they just keep putting this poor dude in these situations where he's like, there's Frankie, AKA Freddie. I mean, and apparently, like, Spencer says, like, he's like the coolest, like, dopest dude.
Oh, he says that?
And he's like, and his wife is so much fun. And he's like, but the producers just, like, edited them out. I'm like, that sucks. Can you imagine? So anyway, I just hope that they get their own show, because I really would like them to redeem themselves. So bad. Freddie. Sorry, Frankie. No offense. I feel you, but oh my God. So we've got the country night theme. What the heck was
and all the country music that they played during this. All the other music is like upbeat, sexy,
like club music.
Yeah, and then we have country.
It was like they went to like a dollar store to buy decorations for that night, and the only thing they could buy was country nights.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so weird, and like I don't know what, it was just uncomfortable and strange, and it really felt like they lost their budget or something, and 100%. They were like, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
So then it's even more weird is like the Wallers. I mean, oh God. I mean, I hate to say it, but the Wallers are like, I hate talking shit on pregnant women and sober people. I don't want to be that person, but they're such downers. I mean, like, every time they get on the mic, they're like, murr, 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 murr. And I'm like, oh my God, I just really wanted, I don't know, their exchange with the Pratts. You could tell that Heidi and Spencer are just like, okay, these are our lines.
Yeah.
So Wallers, the drama just got out of hand. And then Heidi, actually, I did think Heidi was, again, she plays the reality card well, because she does show her true colors when she says to Waller's wife, what's her name? Ashley. Shows how rememberable she is in my mind. I'm like, she says to Ashley, you know, I was sensitive because I'm trying to have a baby. You're like the pregnant goddess Beyonce walking around with your baby and always making reference to it. I mean, we did see their amazing baby shower with the blue smoke baby. I mean, like, but I love the fact that, you know, Heidi still brings a truth and a vulnerability that, you know, that she's going through it.
Yeah.
And I love that she wrapped it up of like, I've got to focus on my marriage. You know, poor Spencer got cut off. I mean, I like looked at his like outro of like, this is the last thing he's going to say in the camera. And he's literally like, I want to live my healthiest life. Or no, actually that was Brody.
Yeah.
His is like, I love my wife. And then you're like, okay, they really edited this down to like the Wallers kind of getting a goodbye and Caitlin and Brody.
Yeah. As we wrap up, like, I'm excited to see if Heidi and Spencer go off on their own and start their own. I just hope that it's not all about crystals.
You know,
because I'm not that into crystals.
You know, here's my thoughts on this. I think Heidi and Spencer are TV gold. I think they are amazing. I don't think that they can just have a show with them because they're super gold when they are
in arguments with people.
Yeah. And they're also super gold when they have events and things to go to.
Yes.
Daily life with them and the crystal business, I think would be interesting, but I think it could get campy.
Totally.
And I do believe that they really love crystals. Actually, the people that they brought into their retreat, the Gita girl and all of that, like these are actual people that to me, I'm like, I don't want to put people down because I'm in the yoga world. And I do believe that I've got these big old crystals. There's a part of me that has a lot of respect for it. I think the hard part is that because they have this larger than life persona, that their crystal life can look really cartoony.
Yeah.
And I hope that, I want their cartoony selves to be in their arguments.
Yes.
Because themselves are absolutely amazing. They're just an amazing couple.
Yes, they are. We love Spidey.
I guess to wrap this up, I don't know if The Hills is going to be renewed. If
do you think that?
Yeah.
You, the viewers, you think that it's going to be renewed? Do you think it should be renewed?
I think they need to get new showrunners.
I do too, which is sad because, you were telling me, I don't know if we said it on air, but Brody's, Spidey says that Brody's checked out. And
it's not fun. It's not fun to watch people who have cameras on them.
Yeah.
And they think it's a joke and they don't want to be there. By the way, we didn't talk about Brandon at all.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
What is his hair, by the way? It's like shaved here and a mullet in the back.
Yeah.
It must be the things the kids are doing these days.
It's a low-key tribute to Motley Crue too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's you can tell with him. But the other thing that happened, by the way, unfortunately, him and Danny broke up at the retreat.
Yes, you told me that.
They didn't show any of that. I'm like, who are these people producing this show?
Yeah. And that's something you'd want to document.
And he, the end of it, he just looked like an aggro 25-year-old.
Yeah,
he just was like this pissed, grumped off kid. And I'm what do you have to be pissed off about? Your dad is Tommy Lee. Your mom is Pam. You can have any girl you want. And you're sitting here in your white party being like, nah.
Yeah, in the corner.
They really edited him to look like a little brat.
They did. And I didn't understand that. He was talking about how everyone was coupled up. I'm like, what are you talking about? Brody's single. JB is single. There's Adrina's single. Yeah. There's really a lot of single people here. Okay, you're not the only one.
Now it was I don't know, whoever edited showrun, these people, it's like they took a nap.
Yeah.
It was painful at the end. But the silver lining and the bejeweled crystals of the show were they were the MVPs. Heidi, Spencer, you carried the Hills this season.
They definitely carried the Hills. And
I hate to say it, but I don't feel the rain on my skin, and the rest is written. This show, this was a horrible season.
That was really good. That was really good.
If you're going to do season 3, make Spidey the focus and get some new people on it. Because
Can we just try to get Lauren Conrad back?
And bring Kristen. Yeah.
Kristen was on for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't think she really wanted to be like a co-star of the show, but I thought it was pretty cool that she came on anyways.
I think it was too. OG reality.
That was a highlight. That was definitely a highlight of the season.
That was it. Well, on that note, we're gonna sign off. Just imagine the sun and the beach waves and me and Chelsea waving goodbye.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the Hills. And if you have any thoughts of what shows are coming up that you'd like us to chat or dish about, please drop your comments below. And thank you so much. The rest will be written, I don't know, between me and Chelsea. We'll see you on the other side. Bye.